Hello, we are back once again for another episode of the Cheltenham Roar. There was at one point I was worried that this wouldn't be able to happen again, but the fighter in him has brought himself through after unfortunate circumstances through Christmas. Dave, how are we?
Yeah, I'm good, Woodsy. I'm getting there now. I've been back on the other podcast, The Finishing Line, and I was eager to get back on and do this. At least before we kind of have more trials for Cheltenham, and then
It's not looking
leading
good
up
with
to
the weather.
Cheltenham. But yeah, it was a rough month. The
Yeah,
end of December into January was a rough month, but I feel a good bit better now. Yeah.
you know, what the worst part was like, especially when you got a friend who's going through what you're going through, and you just know that like you can't even be there physically. It's just like I felt you. I have to say, especially going through that period, it must not have been
Yeah.
nice, but I
It was
suppose
hard on like majority of the times I was all right. Like I'm strong enough to get through a tough time, but like that, a lot of friends and my parents and stuff found it very hard with not being able to visit or that kind of stuff with the places being locked down with the COVID cases. So
yeah, but that
yeah,
felt
it was a weird experience. I spent time in hospital before with different ailments and stuff, but it was very different. Hard on people, and they stuck in there, and you really have no outlet because you can't see anybody else. So.
no. Any nice nurses?
And there's a couple, yeah, one or
Couple of
two.
nice ones, yeah.
Yeah. One or two we'll stay in contact with, all right, yeah.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Actually, I was looking for an article. No, an article popped up on Twitter actually, which is quite funny. It said "Stars of the '90s, there and now." Like, what out of any of the Bears from the '90s, which one stands out most for you? Do you remember any?
Some of the Spice Girls now were top notch back in the day.
Back then, yeah, Spice Girls, yeah. For me, do you remember ever watch Saved by the Bell?
Yeah.
Remember the dark haired bird and that?
Yeah. Kelly from that.
Yeah, I think that was my
She's
first
class.
time. Yeah, she was
Your man from that show actually died during the week.
Screech.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died. Heart attack.
Crazy.
Another one with a heart attack. Yeah, but I bet he's had a few parties in his time.
I'd say there was a few substances taken, all right, yeah.
There was another bird. What was it? The mixed race bird in there. Do you ever see that film she was on? Showgirls.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
no, that's a film. That is a pretty decent film to watch. But anyway,
it is actually, yeah, I recommend to a friend that film, yeah.
Yeah, not one for a cozy night in though. Right.
No.
What we're going to do is going to go back on the selections of what we've done. I suppose everyone who does this, like me, yourself, anyone else, we have to stand with what was said. So if we go back to what our selections was, we'll start off with yourself. Actually, first thing, how did you think the show was last time?
Good.
You left me by myself.
I was resting here. I think I watched it actually the second day I got home from the hospital, and I was impressed. You know, well by yourself, you held a fort.
Yeah,
so
I was nervous. Luckily, I was in a good frame of mind.
You didn't seem nervous at all.
No.
No.
If you'd have seen my knee, I'd have been twitching like.
You just put the head down and got it done. It's a good show. It's a good show.
What I will say is, like, in the past, I used to take the mickey out of other people that did it by themselves, but it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's quite hard. You need someone to kind of talk to and bounce kind of ideas off. So yeah, doing it on your own is tough.
That's like it must be like working for a radio station. You're literally just talking to no one, just hoping someone's listening.
Yeah.
Like, no one could have viewed that, and it was just me chatting on about Cheltenham. It'd been funny. But we'll start with your picks, Dave. Be rude not to.
Far away.
We had the Gold Cup album photo, 6-1. Currently sits at 3-1. Fakir Dudarees for the Ryanair, 20-1. Now Curry sits at 33-1. Arkle Darvel Star, 25-1, sits at 33-1. Stayers Fury Road, 12-1, sits at 20. Envoy Allen the Marsh, 2-1, sits at 10-11. Now, out of those selections, which ones do you think have let you down?
I'd say Faki or Dudery the most. I thought a step up and Trip would be what he wanted, but just hasn't done well at all this season.
Just can't find a Trip.
Davor Star, obviously he's gone out in price. So I still think he's a good each way shout for the Arkle. I imagine you'd see a better performance this weekend in Leopardstown from him.
He pops up now and then, doesn't
Yeah, he does. Like, same goes with Fury Road. His price went out at Christmas because we run at Leopardstown. He's ran a couple of times at Leopardstown and hasn't acted on the track, which can happen to a few horses.
Yeah.
It happens on the flat as well when you have flat meetings. So, but I'm happy with getting Envoy Allen at 2-1.
Oh, great! That's
easy.
Yeah.
He could go off a crazy price like 1-3 or something like that.
It's going
And
to be
looks the one to be on in the Gold Cup as well. You know, he
looks solid. Like,
he's so solid, yeah. Even at 3-1 now, he's still such a solid favourite.
There's so many question marks against all of them, apart from him. Obviously, the only question mark against him is the whole 3 times.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that people are doubting that it can be done. So if you just
people are doubting it because it's so hard to do, but you know, horses come along every now and again, and it's how they're campaigned. He's campaigned for that one day every year. And as much as that's a question mark against him, every other horse in the race has more question marks than he has. So
we haven't even seen some of the horses. I don't know what's happened to Champ. Looks like he's going stayers hurdle.
It's crazy.
Crazy. Your other selections are the Novice Chase. I don't think we call it the RSA anymore. Latest exhibition, 14-1, now in 10s. Champion Chase, put the kettle on, 8s to 20s. National Hunt Court Made is not in the betting anymore, which is very surprising. I don't know, they're not looking to go down that route. And Kescon Risk, 33-1, which is around about the same price, which actually, for a horse that I didn't know about, that actually ran quite well in its race during Christmas when it came third. Beat Valley Adam and all that, didn't it? So,
yeah.
What do you think about these ones? Our latest exhibitions looks good. Put the kettle on. You would say, if you were a fan of her, you'd take the price now because she's going to turn up at Cheltenham, isn't she? Disappointed with Court Made, do you reckon?
Yeah, for some reason they didn't enter Court Made. I don't know why. Maybe they're thinking of the Irish Grand National, which would make sense as well in that kind of.
I think.
I think she would run well in that. Kescon Risk I put up as a complete outsider because I liked his profile, his bumper win, his maiden hurdle win. Going from a maiden hurdle, you know, to be third in a grade 1 behind Appreciated and the likes, or Valley Adam and the likes. I thought he ran Valley very well. It wouldn't surprise me if he runs well again at Leopardstown the weekend and that price contracts. And Put the Kettle on is still, she's an even better each way bet now at 20-1. I still can't see her going to the Mayor's Chase. The owners are very sporting and they like to have their horses in the big races, so that's a good each way price.
What was I going to say? Yeah, National Hunt, the Court Made, got entries in the Marsh and the Mares at the moment, I think. Mares Chase, so obviously got down a different route with that. Put the catalogue, it's definitely a better price now, 20-1. Obviously didn't turn up last time out. Got beaten very well by Shakan. I think that was the reason why Shakan just beat Notebook and Put the Kettle on, like they weren't even there.
So that's the reason she went out in price, and it works for you if you're a backer of Put the Kettle on. Her best form is at Cheltenham. She'll run way better in the Champion Chase. Now, by no means can she beat Shakan? I doubt it. But you know, a quarter of the odds is still 5-1, where Shakan is going to be odds on. I think it's a good bet. Yeah,
it's definitely that Put the Kettle on. We'll probably have Aidan back on board as well, which he knows are probably best. There's still no retained jockey for McManus yet, is there? So he might get a few rides with that. Maybe he's thought against it. Maybe he doesn't want to single himself down because no one's stood out. Maybe, I don't know. Only he can answer that, I suppose. Right. So yeah, some of those that latest exhibition. What do you reckon if he loses here? National Hunt.
I hope he still goes for the festival chase, but
it's a weird one because this is too. You can't. I don't think you can compare the novice chase to the race they're doing on the Sunday because it's different. It's different distance. Could bring a whole different.
It's 2 mile 5 odd. I actually think he's more speed than Monkfish, so I think he'll win the weekend, and then we'll go to the festival chase. But very hard to beat Monkfish over 3 miles, and I mentioned it in the other podcast. It's going to take a certain ride from Brian Cooper, and to use the little bit of extra boot that latest exhibition has, because Monkfish just loves to fight and battle. So it should be a good race again. It was a great race at Christmas.
Yeah. Speaking about jockey selection, right? If you had the choice, who would you pick to ride at Cheltenham if he become fully fit? Davy Russell or Jack Kennedy for the main rides?
Davy.
You get Davy Russell back in?
Yeah.
Even though he's been out most of the season?
Yeah, if I knew he was fully fit in the whole likes, yeah, I would, yeah.
There's one with Jack. Jack, he's good, but I don't know. I'd keep remembering him every time he let me down and Annie Power. I just kept like, oh Christ.
I've no issues with Jack. Jack's very good, but Davy is just
he's had a
top notch. Yeah.
He's had a few good rides this year anyway. Davy being out, old Jack. He has stepped up though. You have to say.
He's done well on Envoy Allen.
Yeah, very well. And getting Abracadabras to win is never easy as well, I suppose.
Good grief, he's a lunatic.
But he's a sort of horse that could probably pop up Sunday and win. That's going to be a weird race to watch, I reckon. Right, I'll go through my ones. We have Supreme Novice Hurdle, My Drogo, 33s, went into 20 to 1. I remember back in the Christmas show, you guys said that it will depend on how he performed in that race. I thought he performed quite well in that race.
Yeah.
Drifted out to 9 to 1. I was a bit like, whoa, what's going on here? Obviously, when the bet came in, it was better because best odds guarantee. But
best odds, yeah.
Yeah. So that actually went down to about 14 to 1. It's gone back out again. So they do have another one called Third Time Lucky in there as well. So hopefully it might go there, but you never know. It might not. They might choose not to go there. Champion Chase, Altior 7 to 1, which is now at 8s, but he had gone out to about 14s after he lost the Desert Orchid. But I just keep hearing good things coming from Nicky about Altior, so that's why I think he's gone back in. A few videos put up with him schooling and stuff like that. Nicky said he's banging form. Probably going to come out and do the race he did last year. I can't remember what it's called.
Game Spirit
race. Yeah, won that quite well last year, didn't he? Especially after that horrible race against Surname. Surname's another dog. I don't want to mention his name again. Right.
Yeah, I just don't. You were speaking about it in the video on your own. It's so hard to figure out that horse. I just don't know. But I do believe running other front runners in the race, Frodon and the likes, just didn't.
That's what I was saying. I didn't get it. Why he'd ruin it?
It's probably
someone like Frodon and.
It's probably an owner's type of thing. He has 2 or 3 horses that can go for the same race, and they're not the same owner. So, like, you're paying the money to enter your horse and all that. Like, but yeah, it definitely didn't play to Surname's strengths. But I wouldn't be backing him again after that either way.
I just don't. I don't know what Harry was doing. It's like Harry's been on bang on form all year, and then decides to drop him out, and it was just over from there. Really, wasn't it? It was a miserable King George to watch. Anyway, I wasn't too happy about it, to be honest. But oh well, we won't go into that. Right, yes, Altior 8 to 1. I got if Altior wins, I do win quite a bit. I managed to get him in a nice treble. So I will be back in Altior from the day and chasing him on. I know Shakan's got the best form, but you don't know with Shakan because Shakan got pulled out on the day last year.
Yeah.
So. Like I said, I remember I was there. I remember it coming through the the Tannoy, Shakan's out, Altura was out. I thought, quid's in. I'm on Defi. Lovely jubbly. But horse racing doesn't work like that, does it? No.
It never works out when it looks so easy, does it?
It doesn't at all. And that horse is now just gone. He's just losing it. He's like a UFC fighter that's had, like, as top of his game, had one bad beat and then just can't pick up a win. It's like Conor McGregor definitely just saw it. He just keeps dropping out, picking up a little crappy race, getting back again, getting better again. It's just let's talk about him as well. Sham Blue for the novice chase. They didn't enter it, which surprised me a lot. Obviously won the Quarto Star. Mentioned it in the video for that. Won it very well. You could argue the big breakaway, I believe, would have won it if his jumping was better. But
he's so talented, but so thick, it's unbelievable.
He runs again, isn't he, this weekend in Wetherby? Well, he's meant to. 2 to 1.
He'd be better off now in a 3 mile bumper or something like that, where there's no fences. But Jesus.
But he jumped so well. Everyone was like so happy with him first time out. Everyone's like, oh my God, look at his jumping. He's made for it. And then
he's a horse now that needs a dig. That's what he needs. So lazy, so talented. Oh.
Yeah, you can't understand what's going on with that horse. But you never know. It
actually reminds me of the way Big Bucks jumped. When they were trying to make Big Bucks a novice chaser, and he won the Grade 1, I think, at Aintree at the end of the season. They skipped Cheltenham. He won the Grade 1. But he's at there falling, he's at there belting fences and not winning races he should have been. And he jumped the same. Like when he was being asked for jumps, the Ruby was on him. He was just walking through fences. And I think it was Ruby was on him at Aintree, and it was nearly sure it was a graded race or a decent handicap. But he sluiced up. It all kind of came together. And then the following season, he was favourite for the Hennessy. And I remember Nicholl saying his schooling hadn't gone to plan again. He was still kind of messing with the fences. And he just threw in a Horlicks of jumps around Hennessy. And that's why he went back to hurdles. And he became famous for what he did then.
The rest is history, isn't it?
He is a big, big horse as well. And you know what? If the big breakaway just doesn't jump fences the next time, you may just call it quits and go back over hurdles. Leave him. And Big Bucks wasn't really the best jumper of a hurdle. They were just pretty much in the way, and he was just let use his stride and the whole lot. So, but
there is
I had money on him at Christmas. I backed him.
Oh, did
he
you?
Definitely by a mile is the best horse and the most talented horse. But sure, if you don't jump, you're not going to win.
You would have thought it was there for the taking. Like Sham Blue did what everyone thought he was going to do, jump brilliantly, and then stayed on. But you just thought coming up the home straight, you just thought
even getting to the point of 4 out, he had jumped terribly, but I was like, oh, he's still going to win. And then 4 jumps in a row, just walked through 4 fences. I don't know how he didn't fall.
It's good news though, coming out the Tizard yard. He's had his first winner yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Christmas. Yeah. Yes, had the first winner. It was an odds-on favourite in Cheveley Park colours, but we'll give him that. So he might be turning the season around at the right time. Oh, Tizard. Where are we?
I said it earlier in the year, and now I don't for a minute think that they wanted a season like that after having with so many little winners and in the numbers of it all. But the last couple of seasons, he's been lightning from November to January, and it started dwindling then, and he's had a terrible Cheltenham. Be interesting to see this year if his horses are super ready for Cheltenham, and he has a few extra winners at Cheltenham, and has he tweaked things a little bit. But I wouldn't say he didn't want to have a winner in 40 odd days or whatever he said.
No, I don't believe that was the plan. But he's got one, so maybe the big breakaway. I think it was currently 2 to 1, which ain't a bad price. It dropped down in grade as well, so I think he's got that in the bag. If he's going to win anything, he has to win that race, 100%. So Yeah, Goris Shamblu. I know we're speaking to you and Andrew about it. You even thought he might go national hunt. So the fact that they've dropped him down to the novice chase distance is surprising. He goes out this weekend. Very strong race that is, I think. Very strong.
Yeah.
You got and you got the next one in it as well. You got Damn to Company. He's in that. She's in that race as well. Good to see where she's about. I potentially don't want her to win it because I think if she wins it, they might not go for the mares. They might try their luck at the novice chase. But currently, I did say at the time it was 20-1. She was running in a 2-runner race, I believe it was the next day. Run very well. Now currently sits at 10-1. So I think that's quite a good shout for the mares. Hoping, fingers crossed, that she doesn't come out and blitz that field, because I think if she wins that out of that field, I think they'll go for the marsh. I think they'll give Envoy Allen a go. Be a waste. Be a waste if they didn't. The next one's Gold Cup Champ, 10-1. Now it's 12-1. Haven't even seen Champ yet. Not good. Especially if you back that Ante Post, you'll be worrying what the hell's going on. I don't think like I say, he's got an entry in the stayers. He's more unlikely to go to the stayers now than he is to go there, probably. Looks like I've missed it out, but the Ryanair Imperial Aura, probably my favourite bet of the year so far. Ryanair 22-1, now 7-1. Very disappointed last time out. Don't know what happened in that race. I thought he has had that race in the bag. Cost me a bit of money, I'm not going to lie. Had a couple of doubles with him the last one. Just bucked him off, bucked Bass off. So
yeah, he didn't even have a race.
No, he didn't even have a race, which you could say is a good thing, or you could say it's a bad thing, because obviously we need preps. I don't know if you're going to get a prep run leading up to it, so you never know. Min does look like a strong favourite now for that one. Arkle for the Chantry House for the Arkle, not even in the betting. I believe he's in the Browns now. Time Hill 12-1 is 4-1. Yeah, very happy with that one. I believe it's going to be between the top two, and I think it all depends on how much time here, how much Dicky and Hobbsy have learned about the previous race. If they've learned anything and they come up with a new tactic, then I think that's the only way we can see Paisley Park being beat. Because I still have visions of that race. I'm sorry, but I was counting my money at one point, and then I was great. Anyway, let's not talk about that. Cross country, Potter's Corner, 12-1, 8-1. Still think it's great, 8 each way.
Yeah, good bet.
Marsh Galore, that's one of the early ones. 33-1 is now 40-1. The only thing I will say about that horse is, for some reason, they chose to take him down in trip, which I was against. So they took him down to 2 miles. You got just done for pace, completely done for pace. So they will step him back up in trip. So you might see a different horse that we haven't seen for a little while with that one. But yeah, there are selections for the time being. We do have some more selections coming up for you today. And we did have ones for the Champion Hurdle and the Triumph, but none of them have changed the markets. So we won't talk about them just yet. So we'll move on to our next 3. Where are we? Yeah. Right, Dave. What's your next selection for Cheltenham Ante Post?
With the Mayor's Chase and Benny.
Ooh, Benny. Okay.
Okay,
do you have inside information then? Because I don't think he's going to come chasing.
No, I don't have inside information, and this is a bet I done significantly earlier in the year. I actually done the bet when Royal Ascot was on.
Okay, yeah.
And I got 14-1 on her for the Mayor's Chase.
Okay.
And then I've been keeping track of the markets, and I saw her start to move in the way. It must have been around September, October, and I got more money on a 10-1. And just my thinking of it was, I didn't think we'd see her until Cheltenham. what they did with Covega and Ante Power and so on and so forth. I know we've seen her over hurdles. The last couple of years, she won the Galmoy that was on last week in Ireland last year, but before going on to the Mayor's Hurdle. She's always done kind of well first time out. I think they're saving her for Cheltenham. Willie is just notorious for going for the race that he thinks she has the best chance of winning in. It doesn't have to be the most prestige. It doesn't have to be a grade one. Just the best race that he thinks she will win in her ability. If nobody that watches the show have seen her jump fences, she's an immaculate jumper of a fence. She came from France to be a Ryanair horse, and at the time their hurdle Mayor Vroom Mag got injured and retired, and they rerouted Benny to the Mayor's Hurdle where she beat Apple's Jade. She then stayed over hurdles for that reason, fell, and then last year got beaten by Honeysuckle.
Yeah.
I don't think she can beat Honeysuckle over that trip. I also think they think they've the winner of the Mayor's Hurdle in Concertista, who's unbelievable at Cheltenham. And the big thing is Benny is over the last 3 or 4 years, she's a grade one animal. She'd beaten, she's beaten geldings, so on and so forth. She's loads of ones by her name. Bar Honeysuckle, who's clearly a top level mare as well. She would be getting weight from some of the mares in the Mayor's Chase because she hasn't raced over fences in so long.
Okay.
She would destroy those, giving them weight. So getting weight is insane.
Yeah.
I know it's a worry about her, you not seeing her and so on. But look, this is the way Willie trains top level fillies. Very hard to keep at the top level the whole way through a season. You see it with Apple's Jade. Everybody knows Apple's Jade over the course of the years. She had a few good months and then her season would totally tail off. We go back through Willie Mullins, the grade one mares he has, you rarely see them. Covega came out twice a year. That was it. Very hard to keep mares happy and keep them at the top.
Why is that? Because I'm quite interested. Why have they ran very rarely?
Mares are quite temperamental.
Not last time, the previous time. They didn't run Benny at all until the mares. Unfortunately, she fell at the last.
Yeah,
but they've obviously done it before. Why is that?
It seems to be the way that Willie Mullins trains mares, and especially the ones that he knows are grade one level top animals. It's very hard to keep mares happy for a full season. They go into season, they can be a bit more like headstrong than what the geldings are. If there's women watching, like, it's hard to keep women happy, like, you know what I mean? And that's what it realistically comes down to. So he has figured out the way to train them for the big day and then leave them off again. Like, you see Benny, you don't see her that often. She comes out and win. Covega 6 times in a row in the same race at Cheltenham and then went on to Punchestown. Same races every season. Just there, that was it. Ante Power was the same. Didn't see much of her, but came out, won her races, was put away again.
See, this is the thing. I was thinking, that's a very good point, and I'm glad you brought it up because I've been thinking for a long time, where's Burning Victory? Obviously, she's a mare.
Yeah.
We haven't seen her at all. Not even entered, no talk about whatsoever. Obviously won the Triumph last year. So that's one horse I think has gone massively off the radar, which still could pop up and do anything. But like, there's been no talk about it. I'm thinking, where the hell is this horse? But maybe that's why. Maybe because it's a mare. He's taken it down that route. I know he raced her once before the Triumph in February, which he won, which is the one I saw, which caught my eye. But this is my counter argument to yourself with Benny. This is how I see it. I believe she's going to go to the Mayor's Hurdle. I've had a little bet on her in the Mayor's Hurdle. I think there's massive talk, which is very strong talk, of Honeysuckle going to the Champion Hurdle, which if she wins this weekend, I think they've got to go. I know they didn't go last year, but I think they were set on where they wanted to go last year. But I think they they might be able to roll the dice this year, especially with no champion hurdle horse like taking the market. You know what I mean? No, no one stood out. So it's still an open champion hurdle. And the main reason why I think that you'll see Benny in the mare's hurdle is the fact that Willie will want revenge from last year, because if anybody watched that race could have seen that given a better ride, Benny would have been a hell of a lot closer. And the fact that Daryl Jacob will be on Constantista, that Paul will be on Benny, that's what makes me think that she could still go to the mares. If it was a case of Paul picking either one, then you could split them. But the fact that Daryl will be on Constantista because he's the jockey for the ownership still makes you think that they might have two bullets for the mares. That's
fair.
That's what I think towards it. But there's no one. You can't argue the fact that if she turns up to the mare's chase, then I think you should be just looking to spend that money before you get it. Long as she jumps, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Right, you might as well stick with yourself and go through your next two. What's your next two, Dave?
We had a Ballymore horse, and when we're speaking about this, I picked out one. I think there's two in it now, and they're both Irish horses.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So we were kind of talking. They said, "Do you want to still stay with the one I picked?" And I was torn. So, but I picked out Bob Allinger.
Do you want me to edit it? Because I can edit it. It's fine.
No.
You want to go?
I picked out Bob Allinger, and I also like Gaillard de Mesnil, who's going to run over the weekend. I do think they will be a good bit better than Brave Man's Game, and one of those two will win the Ballymore.
Very strong hand. You not think Gaillard de Mesnil might go Albert Bartlett?
No. I know the race tomorrow is over 2 mile 6, but he's a Ballymore horse. He's got plenty of boot, plenty of speed. They have the hood on him tomorrow, probably to calm him down a little bit. It's probably to try and teach him to race a little bit better, to be honest, going over that trip. But I mean, he's in against some Bartlett types, so he might have a hard race tomorrow, but I think he's really, really good. And Bob Allinger is just a super horse as well. So
yeah, definitely one that stood out.
The Ballymore looks a great race. Really does.
It does now, yeah. Does last year's obviously was it wasn't, but we all felt it was a one horse race. But yeah, it looks very competitive this year, I have to say. Right.
And then,
yes, what's the next one?
Next one.
Before you say it, this week I'm gonna pick an Irish horse, and Dave's gonna pick an English horse that he thinks, or a British horse that he thinks is gonna do well. So what was your British selection?
Imperial Alcazar.
Yes.
And in the pretemps, in the handicap. Fergal O'Brien is still talking about maybe going for the stayers. I think he's a grade 1 horse, but maybe next year.
Yeah.
I think he has so much in hand if he goes to the pretemps. He's literally needs to jump around and he'll win. I thought he'd win the day at Haydock. I'd say the ground was probably against him, and he was a little bit immature. Still looked super immature a couple of weeks ago. I think it was 2 weekends ago. Head all over the place, running sideways up to the line. He's so much in hand. I think if he went for the stayers hurdle this year, he'd probably run well, but I think he's a little bit too immature and green still. Go for the pretemps, win the handicap, put him away, and he's a grade 1 animal waiting for next year.
Yeah, because he won a pretemps qualifier, didn't he? Quite well. He's obviously he's going to be near the top of the weights, but I think the win of the last two races is not in anymore. So there is a gap there now, and I think you could easily fill it with that horse. So just to confirm, these are the current prices: Benny Deju for the mare's chase 5-1, Ballymore Bob Allinger 5-1, and the pair attempts Imperial Alcazar at 10-1. And believe it or not, my first selection is Imperial Alcazar for the Pertemps. We're on board on this one. I can't get away from this one, especially being British. How it ran last time out. I know there's another big supporter of this horse who does a very successful podcast as well. He loves the horse. Just cements his place for me as well. Obviously, you like it as well, Dave. Fully cements it for me, and I'm going to be chasing this one home massively. My next one is in the Browns advisory, which I just popped out to me. It's not confirming that he's going to go there, but he's quite high up. He's quite high up in the betting, and that's let me pronounce it right. I can't say it. What's it? Protocrat? Is it? Protectorat. Protectorat. Yeah. 14-1 for the Browns. I have to say this year, the Skeltons have had some useful novices this year. They've had one hell of a yard this year.
Yeah.
I remember it was only a few years ago. The Skeltons used to only pop up during the summertime, but they've got one hell of a novice scheme going on there at the moment. This one was probably one they thought was going to shine the most. Unfortunately, ran not very well last time out to, was it Messier de Zobo?
Yeah.
This weekend. I think because of that race, I think he still has a handicap mark. It's the same distance he's been running previously, and I don't think they'll go for they might have gone for a graded race and stuff like that, but I think they might just go for a handicap for this one now. So that currently sits at 14-1. And my Irish selection, I don't know what you feel about this, Dave. It's in the Mares Novice Hurdle, and that's Royal Kahala.
Very good. Yeah.
Won very well last time out. I actually had Hook Up in that race, so it stood out more because it beat the horse that I wanted. It's quite funny, really. Last year, I had Hook Up in the race in his first race last year, and he got beat by Burning Victory. So I'm going for the fact that I bet Hook Up and he's lost to be a good omen that Royal Kahala is going to steal Willie Mullins' crown away, because I think he's won it the last 5 years. Well, I think he's won it
very good.
Very good. I think the fact he's run on heavy ground will help it going up the hill.
Yeah.
And is it Peter Fahey? Is that the trainer?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he always pops up with Ireland, some good horses. Probably not shines over Cheltenham very much, but I think he's got a very good, strong horse on his hands with this one. So these are the prices: Imperial Alcazar 10-1 for the Pertemps, Browns Advisory, Protectorat 14-1, and then the Mares Novice Hurdle, Royal Kahala 7-1. What we're going to do as well this week is share a double and a treble with yourselves, because it's come to the point now where everyone start looking for the doubles and start looking for the trebles and try and make some good amount of money. So, Dave, this is your double, I believe. Epatante for the Champion Hurdle and Album Photo for the Gold Cup. Currently sits at 14-1. I believe that's with Betway. How do you feel about that? Strong?
I just think both are so solid. Can't see, Album Photos price really going anywhere from now. If anything, maybe one of the Gold Cup trials, a horse will put in a decent performance and his price might go out a little bit. It might go 72, 4-1. They've taken him on last year when he had the best form. And Epatante, just forgive a horse one bad run. Again, it happens with mares. We're after talking about it already.
Yeah.
If she had won the race at Newcastle fighting fifth like she had, we hadn't seen her since, she'd be quite heavy favourite for the Champion Hurdle. She jumps better than any of the other horses that are entered in the Champion Hurdle. That's a massive help. She's getting the £7 allowance. If she's back to form, none of the geldings will give her £7. She's too fast, too good of a jumper, and too tough, really, to be honest.
Yeah, fully agree with that. I think that's a very strong double. I'll definitely get on that myself, to be honest. My double is Time Hill, 4-1. Royal Kahala 7-1, which equals 39-1. Double. Like I say, Time Hill, I think it's a battle between the top two. And it all depends on what they learned from the previous race. And if they can come up with a strategy to beat Paisley Park, I believe that is Paisley Park's race for the taking. Roy Gahala, I think, will win the mare's novice hurdle quite well. You never know. I think one might pop up, like it does sometimes, out of one of Willie Mullins, probably third string, might pop up and win it. But who knows? I'm quite strong about that one. How about yourself? What do you think about that, Dave?
Yeah, like Royal Cahala is a really nice filly. She's super tough as well. And Time Hill, like you've said it, it really does look between the top two. You're swung either way. I backed Time Hill in the summer at 16-1, and I also backed Paisley Park at 9-1 in the summer. So I haven't backed anything else in that race, and I won't be. I think one of the two is going to win, and I'm quite happy with that. The reason I backed Paisley Park was just to chance it in case he came back to form and they sorted out that heart condition. And then Time Hill was the obvious one for me, going from novices into stayers hurdle quality. And I think he's shown that he is that grade one animal.
Well, I have no doubt if Paisley Park wins that race, there'll be quite a big spread and a big talk up on ITV about it, which is fair enough. I think it does. I think it's deserved. I think they do go on sometimes with stories that they don't need to, but I think that is one story that they should cover: the fact that having that heart situation and coming back like he has. The way he ran the first race against Time Hill, such a credit, and then the second race, obviously won it just on by a nose. So if you had a finish like you did last time, you wouldn't really mind, would you, Dave, to be honest?
No, it'd be quite good. It'd be nice to watch on the Thursday of Cheltenham.
Right. Your treble. Envoy Allen for the Marsh, Energamine for the Arkle or Nergamene, an album photo for the Gold Cup, which sits at 54-1. So it's definitely a nice price. Obviously, there's the big issue with the Arkle with Shishkin, and big issue with Envoy Allen. I put it on Twitter the other day. It just seems to be Britain and Ireland. We just latch on to the best one out there, but the other country can't take the other horse. So all the British people are like trying to find something to beat Envoy Allen, coming out with ridiculous stories. Some on the Racing Post, like Envoy Allen's not good and all this. Here's something else. They're just trying to make a name because they're just hoping that something will pop up. The same with Shishkin. I've heard a few Irish people just, what has he won and all this sort of stuff. What has he beat? And I think I put it on Twitter. It just appreciate the horses. Yeah. Just appreciate that we've got two really good horses here. And yeah, I think Shishkin will win the Arkle. Will probably win the Champion Chase next year. And I reckon Envoy Allen has a great chance for the King George. I know there's a big Willie Stay 3-2, but we'll only find out when he gets tested. But I think Energamene, we'll see how he is see how he's at the weekend.
Yeah, like I didn't want to throw Epitante in again, so changed it up. But it'd be interesting to see how Energamene runs tomorrow. I mean, he's in a strong race tomorrow, and if he batters them tomorrow, he's every chance of putting it up to Shishkin.
Yeah. You're just hoping that Nico has soft hands, I suppose, yeah?
Yeah, don't pull the head off him, Nico, like normal.
He come out of nowhere. He won one Gold Cup, and he gets one of the best jobs there is.
And you know what? I backed him that time on Coonagry. I'd followed the horse since he was a novice hurdler, and I was full sure he was going to win the Gold Cup. I thought it was a weak enough Gold Cup, and he would do it. And Nico did get the job because of that. Any jockey would have won on that horse. He was so good that particular season, and when he wasn't fragile and injured, the gallop he could hold simply no other horse could go it over
Yeah.
3 miles, and he could hold it the whole time. So any jockey would have won. So he has got a job that he probably should not have.
Yeah, he just went from the front and just never got caught, didn't he? So was that the first novice to win the Gold Cup, wasn't it?
In 30 odd years or something
About
like
30
that.
odd years, yeah. So yeah, so obviously he hasn't really lost an Altior, really. So apart from the Desert Orchid, where obviously Altior was just don't know what's wrong with him, and the one against Surname, but so because he hasn't lost an Altior, that's probably why he's still got the job. But I looked at two jockeys. I looked at Nico de Boinville and Barry Geraghty, and they're two jockeys that win a hell of a lot of races. But
yeah,
especially Barry Geraghty, I just like where he keeps the reins. I just have no idea how he's getting that horse to bloody go, because the reins are up in the air like this. Just thinking, push the horse's neck, but somehow he just gets them going, and he just don't know how he does it, but he just kept them going. So 54-1.
I do a podcast.
That's a great treble, to be honest, especially if you're against Shishkin. Speaking of Shishkin, he's in my treble. Shishkin, Manila Indo, and Envoy Allen. 30-1. I think Manila Indo has a great chance.
Couple of Irish horses in there.
Yeah, a couple of Irish horses in there. I like to spread it out. Obviously, Shishkin, you could say, potentially could be a dead cert. Envoy Allen could potentially be a dead cert. And I think Manila Indo is the one in there. It's 10-1, which gives you the value. If he wins...
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's the right time to do it, because if he wins the weekend, he's going to be half that price.
Yeah, he'd probably be odds the same price as Album Photo, depending on how he wins.
He should, if he wins, he should be 4-1 odd. I would think.
So if you're going to do it, get him on now. Obviously, I had a bet on Champ, but I did have a little save on Manila Endo a few weeks ago at 10-1 because it just looked too good not to have a go. So I'll be watching a few of those races this weekend with a few in mind. I know us on the British side will be good to see how the Irish compete against each other and who steps up and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think you get many big races left in Britain at the moment. So it'd be good to see the top compete against the top and see what comes out of the market. But what we'll do is we'll call it a day there. Dave, I have to say it's been a pleasure having you back on. A lot less nervous this time around than it was last time. But
it's nice to have a bit of help, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just nice, so nice to have you back, mate. After everything that you went through during Christmas and New Year's, just to see you back at home and fresh again, and it's good to see. So keep going.
Long may it last. Like I said, I don't much do a whole lot. I just do a few bits that need to be done. Like obviously, it's different than hospital where you're cooking your own food and doing your own washing and so on and so forth. But you know, I just chill out, and hopefully over the next couple of months I'll get back to what I was before. So that's the goal.
That's the main thing. Hopefully, then you can potentially maybe get back into some fitness and get back reopen the gym and do the stuff you love. So yeah, it's been a pleasure once again. We'll keep in touch and just see what the Irish have to offer at the weekend, eh?
It'll be a good weekend. Enjoy it.
Bring it on. Bring it on. If you haven't already, like it, share it, add me at Twitter. Yes, Dave. All right. Well, take care.
Thank you very much.
See you later, my friend.